Friends, I would like to discuss 3 subjects here concerning the Watchtower. And that is, number 1, changes in their policy. That would include the child protection from pedophiles. Some people want the Watchtower to change that policy. Okay? And I would like to speak about that first. Change in the Watchtower policy. Do they mean if the Watchtower changes, that they'll stay? That's all I can get out of that. That they will stay if the Watchtower or the Cult Tower changes their policy. Well, I think for a person to make that statement, they're still brainwashed. Why would you want them to change the policy unless you want to stay there? You want to stay there if they'll change their policy. Well, if a dope pusher is caught, would you ask him to change his policy or put his ass in jail? Then a raper who's raping women, would you ask him to change his policy or put his ass in jail? See, people got to think before they talk about this Cult Tower changing their policy. I don't want them to change their policy. Because if they keep their same policy, more people will be leaving it anyway. Why would you want them to change the policy? Let them keep it the way it is. Because the whole world knows what's going on now. They're finding out more every day. Yes, I don't want them to change their policy. I want the Cult Tower to fall for betterment of mankind if they fall. I don't want them to change their policy. Keep it like it is. Because if they keep it like it is, they're going to fall anyway. Yes, sir. And then there's another thing I would like to discuss. People that get disfellowship. Well, they should not complain if they're disfellowship. It's a blessing. It's a blessing if they disfellowship you. You're free now. You're free. Why would you kick me in disfellowship? Your freedom is there now. You don't have to be bound down to men no more. Following men, that's all it is. Men, men, men. A business dressed up with a religious dress on. That's all it is. Big business with a non-profit organization in Brooklyn and the business aspect of it in Pennsylvania, incorporated. They're the business aspect of it. And it runs Brooklyn, who is fronting for the corporation in Pennsylvania in the religious aspect of it, to control these millions of people they do have. So the business part sits down here and pulls the strings. If you know what I'm talking about. Two objects they're working. The business part and then the religious part. They need both. One protects the other. See? So, but they're all one though. All one. Incorporation in Pennsylvania, they run the whole thing, but they have the puppets up in Brooklyn controlling the religious aspect of it. But you know, friends, something is happening. Something is happening throughout this world now. I'm reading too many things now about too many people now are jumping in on this Watchtower or this Cult Tower. The Cult Tower is going to fall. I really believe that now. Oh, they may have a few stragglers before it's all over. But it's going to be a minute amount of people. They will be the completely brain dead people anyway. And God, I hope you don't have them for a neighbor. I would reach out for those that are disfellowship. I'm directing this one to you. Don't feel bad if you're disfellowship. Count it a blessing, brothers. Count it a blessing. You're free now. You're free. You're freed from the cult tower. They did you a favor. They did you a favor. That's what they did. The cult tower kicked you out. You should thank God, Yahweh. They don't like to use the name Yahweh, see, because that's too good for them. They like to use a fictitious name, Jehovah. That's what they like to do, see. But you are free now, brother. Don't worry about, I was disfellowship. Good. Count your blessings. Count your blessings. You were disfellowship. See? You should consider yourself fortunate to be disfellowship. You're out of it now. And if you are leaving a family behind and they won't speak to you no more now, consider it you're free from them also. If they are that brain dead, you don't really need them. That's a position that I take. See, if I got to go to a meeting to have you to love me as my mother or father or brother or whatever, and you won't do it unless I come back to the cult tower, I don't want you as my sister, brother, mother, father. I don't want you at that. I do not like fictitious people. See? So consider it a blessing, brother, if they disfellowship you. You don't have to go through any more of this nonsense of dealing with a big corporation that has a religious dress on. That's all it is. You know what a transvestite is, don't you? Well, that's what they are, with dressed like a woman. And they're dressed like a religion. And they got all these people fooled. See? They got all these people fooled. And then there's the other one I like to discuss, friends. Those that are disfellowship has 7 days. All right, 7 days to appeal that decision that the Holy Spirit that was supposed to be there when you had the hearing and got disfellowship. Okay. Ask yourself this question. If the Holy Spirit was there, are you telling me that you can appeal the Holy Spirit's decision? Who ever heard of such nonsense? How can you appeal the Holy Spirit's decision? Hey, you're going to appeal to men. That's all it is. You're going to appeal to men for something the Holy Spirit gave a decision on. They say it was the Holy Spirit, but we know it wasn't. Okay? But you're going to appeal it. That's a joke right there. You would have to, and why would you appeal it anyway? Why would you appeal it? Because you want to stay? It would have to be you want to stay. That's the only reason you're appealing this nonsense. But it don't matter if you appeal or not. They're not going to change their mind. Because it's all fixed when they have a judicial hearing. If you have said anything about the cult tower up in Brooklyn, you're going to be disfellowship. I don't care if you appeal to Jehovah, Yahweh. I don't care what you appeal to. You're going to be DF, disfellowship. Okay? But you should, if they do disfellowship you the first time, you know what you should say? Thank you, brother. I'll leave you in this cult tower. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Yes, I'm out of here. See? Consider it a blessing if they disfellowship you. Consider it a blessing. Don't cry, moan. And friends, let me tell you something. If I got to fill a seat in the Kingdom Hall to please somebody, And that's what it is. If your mother, I'll just use your mother, your mother and father, won't speak to you until you return and sit in that seat like a good little boy, doing what Brooklyn wants you to do, I ain't gonna love you. I ain't gonna love you. That's what your mother and father's telling you. Well, do you really want that kind of love? That's not love. That's bribery. That's extortion. Or conditional love, which is nothing. See? Yeah. Come back to Jehovah. Yeah, you come back to Jehovah. You're coming back to men. Capital M, capital E, capital N. Men, that's all it is. See? If any of y'all watch my phone call I made to Brooklyn, it lasted 52 minutes, I believe. It might be 50 minutes, I'm not quite sure. But I was on there for 50-some minutes talking to an elder in Brooklyn. But I didn't talk to him like I'm talking now, because I wanted information. And the only way to get information is do it like you mean it. See? And I did it like I meant it. Because they taught me how to do it. They taught me how to pretend that I'm righteous, that I'm going along with y'all. They taught me how to do that. I didn't teach myself. They taught me how to do it. And if any of y'all want to watch it, it's on here of me calling Brooklyn. See, that's the only way to do it. You call the head people. Okay? And he asked me, why did I get a decision at my Kingdom Hall? What did the elders say? I told him that they were evasive on their answers, evading the truth. They weren't going to give me no answer, because I was leading up to him, because I knew he was going to do the same thing. Evade. They know how to do that, friends. Absolutely, see. But y'all watch that video of me talking to them. I covered several subjects. How can I stay in the watchtower after finding out what I found out? I'm a baptized brother. I'm a senior citizen. That's what I told them. And I want to stay in the truth, but how can I stay in it now from what I have found out? I found out too many things now. And if you will listen to that talk, friends, he did not deny anything I said. United Nations, see? He didn't deny it. No, he didn't. He did not deny that. And if y'all will watch it, you know what I'm talking about. Then I have another video on here about the cult tower belonging to the NGO. All right? It's only about 5 minutes. But I physically phoned the United Nations. And they physically told me right over this YouTube channel that the watchtower belonged to it for 10 years in the NGO. And the worst part for the cult tower is they renewed it every year. In other words, for 10 years, they would get the statement back and they would re-sign it again for another year. See? Now, if they had only did it one time, you could allow for a little, leeway here. But they did it every year. So that shows they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. And if anyone has any doubts of why they belong to the NGO, well, I'm going to tell you why they belong to the NGO. See? They belong to the NGO because the United Nations has a lot of pull. A lot of pull in all the countries in the world. So if the cult tower belonged to the United Nations, they could get into these other little countries easier without paying any taxes, see? Because they had someone big backing them up. This is why they belong to it. Money. It's all boiled down to money. To make on their magazines. And they get all these people to fall for that nonsense and build kingdom halls that they would own themselves. See? This is why they belong to the NGO. For privileges. For privileges. That's all. See? Now, think about what I just said about incorporation in Pennsylvania. Now, who does that benefit if they're allowed into another country? The incorporation in Pennsylvania, who's the head of it, makes money. Because the more magazines you put out, the more money they will make from contributions. See? So there's a reason that they belong to the United Nations. There's a reason. And it's money. Money. See? In other words, when they went into a country and want legitimate recognition, it would be much easier if they had their little calling card saying, member of the UN. See? Because, you know, politics sticks together. See? You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back, brother. This is the way it's done. That's the world. It's done that way. And the Watchtower's right in there doing their thing too. Did I say Watchtower? I'm sorry. I meant Cult Tower. This is a new name I'm giving them. Cult Tower. Sometimes I call it the Low Tower. See? Because watch means they're looking out. But they're low sometimes, I would say most all the time. Low Tower. But I got a better name for them. Cult Tower. That's what it is. A Jim Jones waiting to happen. A Jim Jones waiting to happen. See? And God forbid if your parents are in it, they might drink that Kool-Aid too. See? Because once they were kicked out of Russia, you know, they moaned and groaned. And you know, if you think about the Russian ban, do you see how they flooded Russia with all kinds of letters protesting that decision? Millions and millions of letters were sent in by these zombies to flood the post office in Russia. So as they said it'd be like 6 elephants in weight, all the letters that went there. It was did intentionally to bring their post office to a standstill. And they're supposed to be Christians. They ain't no Christian no more than I am. To bring a country to its knees because they upheld their law. Russia upheld their law. If they got a law against what you're doing, it's a law. It got nothing to do with persecution and all that nonsense. It's a law. If you go 75 miles an hour in a 50-mile-hour zone, you're guilty. Pay the cost. That's the law. What's so hard to understand about that? The Cult Tower don't like the laws to be enforced on them. They think they're above God. They think they are the representatives from God. They think that. But please go to that phone call I made to Brooklyn. And you'll find out some things that you might really want to know. See, you can't deny. And because once you phone Brooklyn, you're going right to the head of the whole class. See, ain't nothing I said. It's what they said. Listen to what they say. Listen to how they defended the things that I asked him. Oh, you'll love that video. See? You can't deny. You can't say, I'm an apostate, that's all, and this and this and this and that. This was from the heart. I was appealing to them a decision. And there's another one I have on there also about blood parts. I told I told the brother from Brooklyn that I was a senior citizen and that I wanted to stay in the truth, but I had to have an operation, and I know I can take blood parts for the operation I got coming. Now, only question I want to ask you, brother, where do these parts come from? Well, he told me that, but I want you to watch the video, but he told me that they come from blood. I said, okay, I'm aware of that, but I want to know whose blood does it come from? Because I know the brothers can't donate blood. They will not donate blood for future operations. They won't do that. So where do the blood parts come from? They're not made in laboratories. You can't buy it over the counter. It has to come from whole blood. Then he told me that they come from animal blood also. Well, I never knew that. I never knew you could take animal blood parts if you had a good conscience. Well, you know, if I had to take something that would keep me living longer, I got a good conscience. I got a good conscience. It ain't gonna bother me, because I know it's all a bunch of nonsense anyway. But I ain't gonna let them know that, see. But blood portions, where do they come from, brother? You know, he went on and on, but eventually he said that they come from the general donations of blood. And I said, well, wait a minute. That means they come from people of the world then. And how can I go knocking on that man's door on Saturday morning and got him going down in Armageddon when it does come, if it ever does come, but I'm officially letting him know he's going down in Armageddon unless he joins us in our cult tower. This is what I'm telling this man. And I said to this brother in Brooklyn, and yet I took his blood parts last month in an operation. His blood parts. So my butt to live a couple more years. That's why I took the blood parts. And he was a person of the world that I took the blood parts from. But yet, he's doing it Armageddon, but I'll use his blood parts so I can keep my old butt still living for 2-3 more years. So I can keep knocking on doors. Yeah. I'll do anything to live 2-3 more years so I can knock on doors. I'll take any blood parts. I don't care if it comes from a monkey, ape, animal, snake, human being. It don't matter to me as long as I can get 2-3 more years in. That's all. See? Blood parts. He said they do come from people of the world. Yeah, sir. What else can he tell me? See? But watch the videos, friend. Now, I'm going to close for now. I'm having a lot of problems here with my wife. You all know she has Alzheimer's disease, and I think I'm going to lose her. It's just a matter of time. And my heart is torn up when I go visit her. I stay there. In fact, I'm going over there when I get off this video. This is her 5th night. I've been there 4 nights. I stayed overnight, right, sleeping on the bunk right next to her, and I lay there and listened to her moan and cry. See, nothing I can do. All she says is, hon, get me some help. Get me some help. Well, she said that millions of times in the last 6 months. There's nothing you can do. And all I would say, hon, you did get help. It's here. I brought you here. You're getting help now. Get me some help, hon. You know, it's pitiful. It's pitiful. And I can't get my breath, hon. I can't get my breath. And yet, there's nothing wrong with her oxygen level. It's 95 all the time. See? And then she says she's choking. I can't swallow nothing. This is why she doesn't eat. I can't swallow nothing. Well, the doctor checked her barium swallow. It was perfect. There's nothing he said I can do. There's nothing wrong with. There's nothing blocking her from swallowing. But it's in her mind. See? It's in her mind. I could use that just like the cult tower. It gets in people's mind, and you can't tell them nothing. You can't tell that cult tower people nothing. This is the truth, and that's it. That's it. See? They'll keep saying it over and over and over. See? Nothing you can do with it. See? But I'm just bringing that in as an example. See? So, friends, I'm going to say good night, and God bless all y'all. And let me see if I have anything. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll tell you this before I go. When I first put her in hospice, they asked a lot of information, see, and I gave them all the information they wanted. And they asked me, is it all right if a member of the clergy visits your wife? I said, no problem with that at all. None at all. As long as it's not a cult tower. And the lady said, a what? I said, well, the watchtower. Oh, okay. You mean Jehovah Witnesses, Mr. Newsom? Yeah, that's it, hon. It's the Jehovah Witnesses. Any other religion, as long as they're not a cult, like Scientology and there's a few other ones, it's okay if a Baptist, a Berean, or Catholic, I don't mind them coming in saying a prayer with my wife, but not the cult tower. No, I don't want them talking to my wife. That's forbidden. They understood. They wrote it down. Okay, friends, good night and God bless. Thank you.